I think after 5 6 days we are meeting online, isn't it? So what happened on Saturday, students? Saturday, sir had engaged, right? Sudarshanam, sir. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
we think Saturday is a holiday.
What about Friday?
Attended.
Huh? Friday.
Sir, Sudarshanam sir took, sir.
What he taught?
Sir, he gave some assignment for us.
Okay. Assignment on what?
Like his subject
Sir, he
only,
did an
sir.
activity, sir.
Okay, in his subject, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Students, will continue from where we had stopped. Uh, Tell me what we were discussing. What we were discussing in the previous class. In the
List of
yeah, lists, isn't it? In the previous class, we are discussing about the list. So, what is list? What are the list operations and the methods that are supported by lists, isn't it? Tell me which are the two list of important list operations. Hello, tell
the
me, students, which are the
concatenation
two?
of star.
Yes, concatenation by using plus. Then what we do with
Con-
star? Tell me, students, what we do with star? You can see here what we can do with star. Repeat. It is called as a
repetition.
repetition factor. Yeah, multiple times we have used it. We have used it. It is called as a repetition factor. So that means we can do string concatenation just by using the plus operator, and star is called as a repetition factor. So whatever we write the expression, that expression will be repeated that a number of times. So then also in the we saw how to do slicing. So slicing has become generic concept because we studied the slicing during strings also. Now during lists also, once again we studied slicing, how to deal with the slicing, and at the same time we also saw how to reverse a string by using the concept of slicing. So and also we studied the methods append, extend. So what is the difference between append and extend? If it is append, you are appending only one element at the end of the list. If it is extend, so you are actually linking a sublist to the existing list. So already you have a existing list. Now you create a sublist that is multiple elements. That means whenever you have a requirement to append more than one element, you can make such a group as a new list and you can append by using the extend method. Then sort method. So in the last lab, that is in the lab test also I was asking, so how to reverse a string, sorry, how to sort in descending order. So that means we have to use the attribute reverse is equal to true. If you do not use any parameter while applying the sort method, by default it will sort in increasing order, and if you want to do the reverse of that, that is in descending order, then you have to use the attribute. You have to set the value of the attribute reverse is equal to true. That means it will reverse in descending order. And at the same time, we know that there is also a method called reverse. It will just reverse whatever the numbers that you give as part of the list or whatever the string values that you give. So it will reverse, it will display the reverse order. That is last element first and the first element last. Then if you want to count how many number of times a given element is present in the list, for that we have a method called count. It accepts element as the parameter and it will return how many times it appears. Then we also have a clear method. I think from clear method onwards we need to study. Isn't it, students? Did I tell about clear method? Hello?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay, then we'll study how to remove the elements by using the clear method. And also there is another alternative also in terms of deleting the elements, that also we'll see today. There is a clear method which is used to remove all the elements in the list and makes the list empty. See, in the previous class, I told actually the clear method also, because I was giving the example of DBMS queries, that is truncating the table and dropping the table, isn't it? When you drop the table, the entire table will be vanished. That means you are deleting that existence of the table itself. That may similarly here also. So if you delete, what happens? You'll be deleting entire list. Now instead of that, you want to retain the structure of the list, but you want to delete only the elements. That means if you want to delete only the elements, then you can do so by using clear method. It's just like applying the truncate command in DBMS. See, when you apply the truncate command, actually you are retaining the table, but you are deleting only the elements of the table. Similarly here, the clear method. You are retaining the empty list, but deleting only the elements. What happens when you delete only the elements? The list becomes empty. You can see here. So here there is a list ls is equal to 1, 2, 3, and you are applying clear method. Then if you print what is the contents of ls, it is empty. You can see here two braces it is displaying. That means the list is empty. Then we have a insert method. Insert method we have already studied during string operations or string methods. While studying the string methods, it is used to insert a value before a specified index of the list. That means if you are interested in inserting at a specific index value, if you are interested in inserting the elements in a specified position, then you can use insert method. You can see here it is accepting two parameters. The first parameter is the index where you want to insert, and the second is the value that you want to insert. Now look at here in the first index position, already there is 5. Now in the place of 5 you want to insert high, so hence we are specifying the index value 1, and here is the output. So now we have successfully inserted high in place of 5. Then we have index method. This method is used to get the index position of a particular value in the list. Here we have 4, 2, 10, 5, 3, 2, and 6. And if you observe, we have the element 2 in multiple positions. But what happens if you apply index to find out the index value of this element 2? It will display only the first occurrence of that index. Now instead of that, if you want to know only its position, if you want to know how many times it is present, you tell me, students, which method I need to apply. If I want to know how many times element 2 is present in the list, what method I need to apply? Count. Yes. The moment you apply count, it will tell you how many times the element is occurring in the list. So if you want to find out the index of that index position, then you have to apply index method. Now let us see some of the points that you need to remember. So you need to remember when to apply append and when to apply extend method. See, the major takeaway after learning the methods of list is that we need to know when to append, when to extend. When you have single element and you want that to be appended at the back of the list, then use append. Then if you have multiple elements to be inserted, then you have to use extend. So what you have to do, how to apply extend? First you create a sublist, then you append. You can see the syntax here. We have list L1 and L2. So ls1 ls.2 dot append of ls1. That means to list 2, you are appending the elements of ls1 to ls2. You can see here. While displaying also, it will be very clear that 1, 2, 3 are the part of sublist. So this is how the output will be displayed when you execute that print command. You can see I am highlighting the portion. Even while displaying also, it will very clearly mention the sublist. Then second point that we need to remember is when to apply sort function and when not to apply sort function. See, it is mandatory for you to apply the sort function only when the elements are homogeneous elements. That means when you have the elements all are all consisting the numeric values or all the elements are string values. That is a situation. That is the only situation that you can apply sort method. When you have heterogeneous elements within the list, then you cannot apply sort, isn't it? Say for example, let us assume you have 10 elements, some 5 elements are numeric elements and for some remaining 5 are string elements. Then the sort method will not work. It will give type error. It will give type error. So therefore remember, if you have a particular set of elements, that is if you have a similar type of elements, then only you can apply sort method. Otherwise you need to avoid applying the sort method. Then sort function uses one important argument keys. So when a list is containing tuples, so that we'll see when we study tuples. So in the coming classes we'll be studying. I think after 2 classes we'll be studying tuples. At the time we'll see how to apply keys along with sort function while dealing with tuples. That means we'll be using the argument keys only when you are sorting the tuples. Otherwise we don't use that keys argument. Then most of the list methods like append, extend, sort, reverse modify the list object internally and return none. That means, so it's an actually interview question. So if they ask like what is the return type of append, extend, sort, reverse, then you have to answer the return type is none. Actually, it will do its functionality and it will not return anything. The return type is none for apply for whatever the methods now we studied, list methods. Now deleting elements. Actually, we already we saw how to delete the elements by using the clear method. So if you apply the clear method, all the elements in the list will be deleted, but still the empty list will be retained. Now, if you want to pop the element, see pop means we know right. It will pop out only one element. So similarly, if you want to delete the last element, then you can use the pop method. You can see here we have a list. Ls is equal to some values, then x is equal to ls dot pop. So therefore, see this pop method is not like insert, append, and sort. It will return the element that you are deleting. Keep in your mind. So when you apply clear method, it will not return anything. But when you apply the pop method, it will return the element that you are deleting. That is nothing but the last element. Here the last element is 10. Now x is equal to ls dot pop. So x is what the list and pop is the method and x is the variable which stores the return type of pop, that is return element. So that is the 10 will be stored in x. That means by using the pop method we can delete the last element. Now there is a variant of pop method which also accepts one parameter. That parameter is nothing but the index value. If you are interested in deleting a particular element, then you have to pass its index value as a parameter so that you can delete a particular element. Now you look at here, there is a list t is equal to ABC. We have three string elements A, B, and C, and in position 1 we have B. So if we do t dot pop of 1, that means we are deleting B. So now if you print the x value here, it will print B. That means we are deleting an element of our choice based upon its index position. Then remove. When we don't know the index value but know the value to be removed. See here. See, when you want to delete an element, there are so many options. Say if you use the clear method, it will delete everything. And if you use pop without parameters, it will delete the last element. And if you use the index value for the pop, it will delete a particular element based upon the index position. So now instead of that, let us assume you don't know you don't know. Say for example, let us assume you have used the list to create a phone dictionary to create a list of users. Now you know the name, but you don't know its index value. So, but still you want to delete that element. If that is the case, you can apply remove method. So what this remove method will do, it will accept one parameter which is nothing but the element that you want to delete. So it will delete that element if you pass it as parameter to the remove method. Now the question is that, say for example, you want to delete some element which is occurring multiple times in the same list. If that is the case, the one which occurs uh, which occurs first will be deleted. Say for example, you want to delete 34 and 34 is present in second index value and 10th index value. Now if you pass that 34 as a parameter to remove, it will remove 34 which will occur first in the list, that is second position. So therefore the element which was occurring in 10th index position, that will be retained, and the 34 which was occurring in the first index position or the second index position, that will be removed. Now you need to understand there is another difference. You can see here, for this remove method there is no return type. For pop method there is a return type. For remove, the return type is none. Return type is none. Whereas for pop method it will return the element that you are deleting. So the return type is list type. But whereas for remove method there is no return type. Now there is one more operator. We call, actually there is a one more operator. Del is not a function. Remember, del is an operator. There is an operator to be used when more than one item to be deleted at a time. So that means if you want to delete more than one item at a time, then you can use delete operator. You can see here, delete ls of 2. That means ls is the name of the list and 2 is the index position. 2 is the index position. So now see here, at the 0th position we have 3, at the first position we have 6, and in the second position we have -2. Therefore -2 will be deleted in this example. And here you can see the result, -2 is been deleted based upon the index value. So therefore del is not a function, instead it is an operator. Now let us see how effectively we can use delete operator. Deleting all odd indexed elements of a list. Odd index means index 1, 3, 5 and so on. So now for this we use the concept of slicing. So del operator, T is name of the list, and here we specify the slicing syntax. So 1 means from the beginning, that is I value. J value we are not specifying, that means consider till end. Then number of steps to be okay. So this is first index position till the end, and number of increments, that is increment two positions at a time. That means, so you start with index value 1, 2 means jump 2 elements, 3, 5, 7, 9, like that. So therefore, if you now if you print, look at here, it has deleted element B and D. So what is the index value of B and D? 1 and 3. That means it has successfully deleted all the elements that are occurring in odd index positions. See, that is the power of slicing, and that is the power of del operator. That means you need to understand. So you can see in multiple instances we are using the concept of slicing. Every now and then we are using slicing. So it is because it's such a wonderful concept, and you can go with selective approach by using slicing along with delete operator. So here What is that selective approach is? Deleting only the odd indexed elements. Now, similarly, you can delete even indexed elements. If that is the case, instead of del, okay, I'll specify here how to delete even indexed elements. Well, name of the list is T. Now, so slicing syntax, that means I, J, and K values we have to specify. 0 means start from the beginning, then till end. So I don't specify J, so therefore it considered till end. Then how many jumps it has to take, that is the K value 2. Yes, we are done with it. So this will delete all elements that occurs in even index position, that is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Friends, any doubt? Hello? Hello?
So no, sir.
Yeah. Now I'll see lists and functions. Some of the commonly used functions. So whenever we use arrays, lists, and so on, very frequently we use like to know which is the maximum element, minimum element, what is the length of the list or array, and so on. So for that, we have commonly used functions. So that is max, min, sum, and length. So to find the maximum value, minimum value, cumulative sum of all the elements, then length of the list. Okay, this is very simple. And this one we also saw while dealing with strings as well, isn't it, students? These are the common methods for strings also: max, min, sum, and length. See here, when you want to find the average, there is no method called average. So therefore, manually you have to find out the average. So to find the average of elements, you have a sum method which will give you the sum of all the elements, then divided by total number of elements. That is nothing but the length. Okay, sum divided by length will give you the average. So you can find out the average. So when we need to read the data from the user and to compute sum and average of those numbers, we can write the code as below. That means you have to read input from the keyboard. Then you want to, okay, find out the average. So ls is equal to list. The students, here you need to observe. So the list, this is a input. So this is a function or an constructor. This list is the constructor, just like an array function. This is a list function. This is called as a list function or the list constructor. This will create the empty list by name ls. Ls is equal to list. Similarly, how to create an empty array? So ls is equal to array. So it will create an empty array. Similarly, here also it will create an empty list. So while true means, students, tell me what kind of loop. If I say while of true, what kind of loop it is? Hello? Hello? Students, tell me what kind of loop is this? Infinite loop. Hello?
Infinite.
Yes, it's infinite loop because by default we are giving an entry by default. See, always it is true. So easily enter into the loop. X is equal to input of enter a number. That means we are asking the user to enter a number. If X value is equal to done, so that means he has to enter a number and he has to type done. If that is the thing, break. Break means what? Come out of the loop. Otherwise, you keep asking the user to enter a number. Say, for example, I want to enter 5 numbers. So I have to enter 5 numbers. After that, I need to type done. So that will mark the end of the input. Otherwise, it will keep asking you to enter the number. So that's why we call it as infinite loop. So all the infinite loops will come out of the loop based upon certain condition. Now here for us one such condition is this done value. As soon as the user enters the done, it will come out of the loop. To come out of the loop, we have if supported by break statement. So break statement will always make you to come out of the loop. Then here what we are doing, we are typecasting because by default whatever the user enters from the keyboard, that will be treated as a string value. So now we are forcefully converting it into float. Then we are appending that element at the end of the list. So now what happens once we are done with entering all the elements and after doing that type conversion, now the final thing is to find out the average. So first you want to find out what is the cumulative sum, that is sum of all the elements. So use the sum method divided by total number of elements. So that is length will give you the total number of elements. So like this you can find out the average. Okay, next is look at here. So lists and strings. How to convert a a string into a list? To convert any string into a list. See in the previous, I think a few classes before, we have seen how to convert existing list into an array or existing list into a tuple and so on. Now we'll see how to convert existing list into a string. Sorry, how to convert existing string into a list. See there is a string hello. Now I want to convert this into a list. For that purpose I will use the list method. ls dot list of s. So what is this s? Is the existing list. So now how it is converting the string values into the list. So it is considering each character as one element and see how it is specifying the values. Each character is embedded with single quote separated by the comma. So therefore we have HELLO hello overall five values. Okay. Now we have a list by name ls which contains 5 elements H, E, L, L and O. But here we have a string, okay, which contains only one value, that is hello. But here after converting it into the list, that one string has become 5 elements, 5 individual elements like this. Now we'll see how to apply the split method. See, split method means usually say for example, let us assume you have a CSV file that is comma separated value. So the as the name itself indicates, comma separated value means there will be sequence of characters where the elements are differentiated by the comma operator. Now if that is the case, how to if you want to split that file into values, then you have to use comma as the field separator. Now here similarly, if I consider this hello how are you as one complete string, now I want to split it based upon the delimiter blank character. So now blank character is the delimiter that contains words. Now ls is equal to s dot split. That means I am splitting this string into multiple words by using blank character as a parameter. So whenever you want to specify blank character, don't specify any parameter. It will understand that the default split argument is blank character. See here. Now how it has created the list. So hello has become one word. How are you one word. How one word. Are one word and you as another word. Isn't it? Now one string has become 1, 2, 3 and 4 string values. Now ls is a list which contains 4 string values. Now similarly, look at here. See this will be very useful. So these methods are very useful for you. See, what happens many a times we do projects and we'll store data into the CSV file, into the Excel file or something like that. Then we need to extract the values and we need to do further processing. So during that phase, so we may have to extract the values and we have to separate them based upon the delimiter. So these methods are very handy for us. Now look at this example. We have a date where the elements are separated by forward slashes. Now, if you want to split the elements 20 separate, 3 separate, and 2018 separate, we have to apply the split method and we have to use the delimiter forward slash as the separator or the field separator. So, whenever you specify the field separator, let it be in a single quote. Now, look at here, ls is equal to dt is the string, dot split. So, dt represents date. So, date dot split based upon the separator forward slash. Now you can look at here, 20 is separate element, 3 is separate, and 2018 is separate. Okay, like this, you can create a list. So now what you should do, if you want to process these elements further, now we need to do typecasting. That is, you need to convert it into an integer before processing it. So that's how you need to deal with split method. And there is a method called join method which behaves opposite to the split. So see, the opposite of split is the join. That means already you have the splitted values. You want to join them based upon the delimiter. Then you can join it by using join method. It takes a list of strings as argument and joins all the strings into a single string based on the delimiter. So you can do so. And if you want to join based upon by separating each value with blank characters, that also you can do. You can see here we have ls is equal to four values, hello, how, r, and u. So that means four elements we have. Now I want to combine these four elements and make one meaningful string, hello, how are you, where each word is separated by blank character. So now that is called as the delimiter. So delimiter d is equal to blank character. So blank character means single quote, blank character, then single quote. So d dot join of ls. So d is what? Delimiter. Join of ls. Ls is what? The list. Ls is the list. So that means based on the delimiter, join all the elements of the list. So I'll make a comment here. Based on delimiter, that is blank, join all elements of list. All elements of list. So now the output is hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Students got it? How to apply split and join? Hello? Hello? Students, I want reply.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these methods are very important, students. Why? Because you have to do the project, and while doing the projects, you have to deal with the text files. Those text files may be in text format. If it is in the text format, the field separator is blank character. If it is in Excel format, once again the field separator is um, blank character. When you have a CSV file, the field separator is comma. Like that, you have to deal with the text. You have to retrieve the values, isn't it? So during that time, join and split, all these things are very important. Now we'll see how to parse the lines. This we have also seen in string operations while dealing with the strings. Now, once again, we'll see. So, see, students, first tell me what is the meaning of parsing? Students, tell me the meaning of parsing. In computer science, what is the meaning of parsing? Hello? Hello? Anyone?
Yes, sir. If we have any text file in that
Arjun, what is parsing?
require pattern, we should get as output.
See, these are the interview concepts. You should know what is parsing. Tell me anyone what is parsing. You are reading whatever that is there. Okay, you can telling. So you bring this file. You tell me already. You have heard many a times. So we have to parse this data. We have to okay. See, parsing always links with the input. Parsing means like interpreting based on certain pattern we have to interpret. So before parsing, we'll be having some. For example, Hello, students. Sorry, due to network issue, it was disconnected, and I was explaining continuously. It was a network issue. Sorry. Students, I was telling. Students, we need to understand the meaning of identical elements and meaning of equivalent objects. So, identical objects means, say you will create one element, you will store some value, and you will create an alias or a link for that. That is called as an identical element. The concept of aliases is nothing but identical elements. But if you store same value in multiple variables, and those objects are called as equivalent objects. So you should not apply is operator for those equivalent objects. So now I'll show you how to create aliasing. How to create aliases. When an object is assigned to other using assignment operator, both of them will refer to same object. Okay. Once again, I repeat, when an object is assigned to other using assignment operator, both of them will refer to same object in the memory. The association of a variable with an object is called as reference. What is reference? The association of a variable with an object is called as a reference. Now, first we create one list. ls is 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3. Then, instead of creating a new list for ls2, now I am creating an alias, that is ls2 is equal to ls1. That means in the memory, both ls1 and ls2 will point to the same value, that is 1, 2, 3. This is called aliasing. That means you need not use any keyword like alias, just like how we do in Unix shell script. In Unix shell script, there is a command called alias to create aliases. Here, just by using the equal to operator, we can create aliases. ls2 is equal to ls1. That means in memory, both ls1 and ls2 points to the same value, that is 1, 2, and 3. This is called aliasing. Now ls2 is said to be the reference of ls1. Okay, so now you have ls1. So for example, let us assume, so interviewer will ask you, so let us assume you have a list by name ls1 is equal to 1, 2, 3. I want you to create a reference for ls1. So that is simple. ls2 is equal to ls1. That means now ls2 has become reference for ls1. So meaning that in memory both ls1 and ls2 points to the same values. Okay, that's the meaning. Now let us see what we can do with aliasing. Okay, so now if you want to modify the values of the list, either you can use ls1 or ls2. Now you can see here I want to modify the second element, that is index number 1. So I am using ls2 instead of ls1. So ls2 of 1 is equal to 34. So in index 1 position there is 2. Now 2 has to be replaced with 34. Now look at here, the output is 1, 34, and 3. So this is how the concept of aliasing works. Students, that's all for today. Take the attendance, 1 minute. Students, answer for the attendance. USN 1,
Present, sir.
2, Abhinav. 3,
Present, sir.
4,
Yes, sir.
Anu. 6,
Present, sir.
Anu is there.
Anna present.
Arbas
7,
Present, sir.
yes sir.
7.
Yes, yes. 8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10, Bhargavi. 11,
Present, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23,
Present, sir.
24,
Present, sir.
25, 26,
Present, sir.
27,
Yes, sir.
28,
Present, sir.
29,
Yes, sir.
30, 30. Now one TD series, USN 2,
Present,
USN
sir.
2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6, 7,
6 present, sir.
7
7,
present, sir. 7,
yes,
sir.
6 present. Yes, 6 and 7 present. 8, 9,
Present, sir.
10,
Present, sir.
11,
Yes, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Yes, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Yes, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19, 20,
Present, sir. 20.
21, 21, 22, 23.
Present, sir.
22 present, sir.
Okay.
Sir, PY series 25 present, sir.
What you are doing? See, I have submitted the attendance. Okay, 1 minute. I'll modify. BY series, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, yes, that's it, students. Thank you.